Welcome to Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, with your host, Steve Garrett, lifetime member of the National Corvette Museum, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 45 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call them at 833-840-5334. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. And be sure to visit the Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join our Corvette Today Facebook group there as well. Also, make sure you sign up for the Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube as well. And be sure to patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, mid-engine-corvetteforum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of fellow Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at mid-engine-corvetteforum.com. Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. C8 Rally Driver is the one-stop shop for your C8 Corvette. Choose from custom-designed trunk and front covers, Z06 engine builder CNC plaques, customized wind restrictors, fluid caps, strut covers, rear hatch supports, and more. Everything is uniquely designed to provide you with custom accessories for your C8 Corvette. Visit their website at C8RallyDriver.com and let your imagination run wild. That's C8RallyDriver.com. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvette. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com. That's AEROLARRI.com. And use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Canadian Corvette Forum and Corvette Forum, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here every other week, that's twice per month, and we keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Since this is the very first news and headline show of 2024, Keith and I are going to take a retrospective look at 2023, talk about the biggest stories last year, and look towards this year as well. Keith, first off, Happy New Year, buddy. How's your holiday season?
Steve, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Holidays were great. Christmas was fantastic. Spent a ton of time with the kids and the family. Stayed here in Florida, so we had some great weather. Although we're chilly today. It's 56 as we're recording this right now. So it's a little chilly, what we call shorts and jacket weather here. But I love these year-end reviews because it's easy to get lost in the minutia of every day and what you're doing. And then we just look back at every 2 weeks when we get together. But then you start thinking about what really happened in January and February and March and then April and then the summertime. And then fall, and then a couple months ago. So I really enjoyed these. These are fun. We did our top 10 stories list. I have my top 5 personal, which is a lot different of what I feel was the big news for 2023 versus what people sort of thumbed up by just reading our everyday news and stuff. It's always fun to look back and say, what really set the news apart last year? And so I'm glad we're doing this retrospective.
Yeah, we need to do this at the beginning of every year, buddy. So we'll put that on the agenda for sure. In our Corvette news section, Keith, probably the biggest story of the year last year was the announcement of the E-Ray, and they started building some in December.
Yeah, well, anytime Chevy announces a new Corvette, it's a really big deal. But the fact is that the E-Ray is the first electrified Corvette with all-wheel drive, and it made that announcement just even bigger. Chevy officially revealed the 2024 E-Ray on January 17th, which was the 70th year to the date that the original 1953 Corvette was first displayed at the GM Motorama in New York City. All the news came out. Of course, we knew about the car. There was a leak the month before. Really big, exciting news there about this brand new car. This is bringing new technology into it, which is why I think this is such a big deal. And of course, like you said, the automaker officially started production in late December. We saw 3 customer cars go through in late December. And then we know that the model's really expected to kick off next week, January 8th, based on some of the TPWs we've seen people posting. So it's really going to start in earnest next week. I would say the biggest overall number one news story would be the announcement and the start of production for the Corvette E-Ray.
Absolutely right. And also, 2023 was a big production year. We think that 2023 will be the biggest model year of production ever.
Yeah, it's funny that we're still talking about we think, we know, we're not sure. And it's 3 months after the model year ended. It's just with the crazy stuff that's going on. So yes, the 2023 model year production ended on September 15th. We are still waiting for Chevy to provide the official total. Harlan Charles said in September that it was 53,448, which would be second all time for production behind the 1979 model. However, during a ride and drive video, Jay Leno and Corvette executive chief engineer Tad Schukter, and they were in the E-Ray, and Tad said that 2023 model year did set the record. So again, we're still waiting to hear. We believe that there's the delay in these stats of being published just because there was all those 2023 Corvettes that were built, but they were still being retrofitted for parts. We heard that first in August and September. Of course, the 2024 model started in September as well, but we knew that 2023s continued to be delivered into November, nearly 2 months after the 2024 started. As soon as we have these stats from the National Corvette Museum, they're the ones that put them out there on behalf of General Motors, we should have that number soon, and I expect it soon because based on the rules and stuff, there can be no 2023s built now because we're in the 2024 model year.
Right.
And not only that, but we're in the calendar year of 2024. So federal regulations don't allow them to build 2023 cars in 2024. I expect we'll have these stats wrapped up here pretty soon.
I think so. And I think they're still waiting for those cars that are up in Michigan to get updated and have those repairs done. Those are 2023 cars as well, aren't they?
No, those were all 2024s. We think that they were there because of the change to the transmission cases.
Okay.
No one really knows, Steve, because General Motors does not talk about stuff like this. We definitely see the results. The results are we don't have 2023's total number of cars produced yet. We don't know how many cars are affected with that trip up to Michigan with the 2024s. Buyers and customers are affected with it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, we got a lot of awards for the C8 Corvette in 2023. Let's overview those, Keith.
Okay, so I went back and looked at the headlines that we had starting in December and then moving back through the year. J.D. Power 2024 Residual Value Award, Canadian Black Book 2023 Best Retained Value Award, Car and Drivers 10 Best, 2023 Vehicle Engineering Award for the E-Ray. The E-Ray was North American Car of the Year semifinalist. The Corvette Convertible wins Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award. Ward's Auto names Corvette Z06's LT6 V8 as one of the 10 best engines for 2023. C8 Corvette ranks highest in segment in J.D. Power Multimedia Study. Corvette wins Canadian Black Book Residual Value Award for second consecutive year. Chevy C8 Corvette wins Loyalty Award from S&P Global Mobility. 2023 Corvette wins Kelley Blue Book's 2023 Best Resale Value Award. 2023 Corvette Z06 is named Motor Trend's Best Performance Vehicle of 2023. And of course, that car also was crowned Performance Car of the Year by Road and Track. And then our final one, Corvette beats Porsche 911 as Consumer Reports' most satisfying car to own. We win the big awards, we win the little awards, we win the awards about quality, we win the awards about best retained value. There's just no stopping the Corvette on multiple fronts. You know, these industry awards just, again, shine the light on what the engineers and the designers and builders are all doing right with Chevy's Corvette.
That's a great list, buddy. That's an absolutely great list. Also, another big story in 2023, the UAW labor strike.
Yeah, you know, we really lucked out this time around with the UAW electing to target select plants from all three automakers as opposed to singling out just one automaker and then doing a general walkout on all of their facilities. That's what we saw back in 2019. GM was targeted first. We had a shutdown of over 6 weeks and delayed the new production of the C8 by several months as well. So again, we really lucked out here. Employees at the assembly plant actually voted down the new labor agreement once it was put together, but it did end up passing nationwide with 55% of employees voting for it. Probably the biggest deal ever for the UAW. We do see some of the stats there with incomes going up, in some cases 75% for people that are working at battery factories and other EV related things. But the average worker made out pretty well in this deal, and we'll do this again in 4 years, it sounds like.
Unfortunately, that's true. And speaking of Bowling Green Assembly Plant, Keith, plant manager Kai Spande retired, and Ray Terrio is our new BGA plant manager.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a surprise. Kai Spande led the Corvette assembly plant as plant director for 8 years. It was at the NCM Bash in April. He announced he was taking a GM buyout that was being offered. He officially retired on July 1st. Taking his place is Ray Thoreau. He held posts for GM around the world and has backgrounds as quality manager, EV supply integration, and of course, he was an assistant plant manager at Spring Hill's engine facility. So he brings a wealth of knowledge. He's been stationed everywhere from China to the United States. I feel pretty good about Ray. I heard some good things about him. I've not met him personally yet. Hope to do that at the Bash this year.
Yeah, me too. And our final news story, Keith, was the passing of Reeves Calaway, a friend of Corvette Today, and a great loss not only to the Corvette community, but to the entire automotive industry.
Yeah, this was a huge gut punch. It happened back in mid-July. Reeves, unfortunately, had a fall in his home. I don't know what happened to him, but he fell in a home and he died just a couple days later. His accomplishments are so underappreciated in the hobby. What a great company. It's in good hands with his son, Pete Calaway. I know you recently did a podcast episode with him. One of my favorite Corvettes of all time. You know, I call myself a Calaway fanboy, but I go all the way back to 1988 with the Calaway Sledgehammer. I was in college at the time, really kind of cut off from reality of being a college student, but I knew all about the Calaway Sledgehammer. That twin-turbo Corvette built, ran a top speed of 255 miles an hour in Ohio. Amazing car, and from that day on, I was ever a Calaway fan. I actually sat next to Reeves and Pete at the C8 reveal out in Tungsten back in 2019. Had a great conversation with him, but I remember when they announced the price of the C8 being $59,995, he literally gasped out loud. I could hear he was shocked at how cheap they were selling the car. Great memories from the guy. When I first started blogging, I wrote about 5 people in the hobby I'd like to meet. He was one of them. I had the pleasure of meeting him several times, and just a fantastic personality. So we'll miss him, but we do know that the company's in good hands with Pete and everybody else up there.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, Reeves told me, he said, Steve, my Corvette Today interview was the best Calaway Cars interview ever. And I was stunned, but very, very honored. He will be sorely, sorely missed. Keith, let's take our first break. When we come back, it's the biggest stories of Corvette racing and Corvette rumors coming up next here on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome, with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Hi, I'm Phil Pataki with Car Capsule. Our new signature model comes with a carbon fiber look floor with double stitching and zipper pulls for easy up and down, easy access. We have our LED light kit with a remote control, and of course we have the IntelliCharger that actually integrates with this car and many other cars. We preserve and protect and present the finest vehicles in the world, and yours is next. Check us out at carcapsule.com.
The Radiator Grill Store offers protection for your C8's front radiators and side intakes. They also carry front strut tower covers to prevent rusting and pooling water, all with do-it-yourself installation. Get 10% off your total purchase with promo code CT10. See the full line of products at radiatorgrillstore.com.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty too. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We're doing a 2023 retrospective on the News and Headlines show. In this segment, we always talk about Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. Keith, another huge story was Corvette Racing ended after the 2023 season.
Yeah, this was a big news, but yet expected. Racing rules are always changing. The recent move to worldwide GT3 specs really forced GM's hand to end Corvette racing as we know it. Of course, the C8R program was retired early because they had to develop this new Z06 GT3R to those new specs. With this new car comes the first time that GM will be supporting customer racing programs with the car. So they'll be providing parts and knowledge and even strategy for racing, providing factory driver on some teams. It's been a real interesting reveal of how they're all going to do that. Of course, it all comes together this month when we see these new cars take to the Daytona Rolex 24. Corvette Racing had said it was ending, but actually it's going to continue on under the banner of Pratt Miller Motorsports, who are fielding the two cars in the GT3 Pro class for IMSA. So it's like the cars changed. The name might have changed a little bit, but for the most part, it's a factory-backed racing program. Still have that going for us. Of course, the WEC does not have a pro class, so the customer team over there will be racing with amateur racers. They'll be carrying that Corvette banner over there, and then we have several teams to root for here in IMSA in the amateur class, as well as other GT racing series. So 2024 should be really interesting as there's more Corvettes racing than ever before. As the cars go around the track, somebody else to focus on and pin our hopes for victories on as well. It's going to be real interesting. Corvette racing ends, but yet it doesn't really. I think all is good there in the end.
It really morphed more than ended. It just transitioned into the next phase.
I think the biggest thing for us, as somebody that follows it, is where do we get our Corvette racing news? There was always the Corvette Racing Twitter feed. They kind of backed away from that. They went to a Pratt Miller feed for some races. I think we'll see a little bit of consolidation around more Pratt Miller Motorsports branded stuff. The Corvette racing spirit will still be there.
Definitely. And the neat thing is we won Le Mans last year and the WEC championship.
Yeah, so talk about going out on top. Despite being outnumbered at the 24 Hours of Le Mans with all the Porsches and the Ferraris and Aston Martins, the WEC Corvette Racing team, Nicky Katzberg, Ben Keating, and Nico Verone, they drove their asses off. That number 33 Corvette C8R, they won their 9th victory at Le Mans, and it was the first time that the mid-engine Corvette won at Le Mans as well. It was just a really storybook ending for the season. Of course, they jumped out at the very beginning of the season where they had a win at Sebring. Then the second race, Portimao, they won that race. And then the third race, they were second place at Spa. So right away, they stacked the deck against all the others. They won Le Mans. That was their third win for the season. They clinched the season's championship with a fourth place victory at Monza with 2 races left to go. It was just a complete domination of the WC over there with the GTD cars and the C8R. So good job. We're looking at 2 new cars coming in, a new team racing over there. So we'll be watching, see what happens.
It'll be a lot of fun. In the rumors category, Keith, we saw the ZR1, we think, out at the Nurburgring, didn't we?
Yeah, new King of the Hill, ZR1 shed its camo and really gave us a great look at the car as it was testing at the Nurburgring back in October. We were pleasantly surprised to see some big changes to the wide body design. We have additional vents on the rear quarter panels, and now we have a waterfall trunk design that's designed to allow air to pass through the car and over the nose of it, much like the GT3 cars that we have today. And finally, we got a huge wing on the back that's even bigger than the Z06. We're really expecting great things from this car. It's expected, we think, to be a 5.5 liter, the same as the Z06, except with twin turbos. We actually had a leak from the GM parts catalog, which seemed to confirm those stats as well with the LT7 engine. They were out there for about 2 weeks, did some testing. We didn't get any fast times that we are aware that they were able to run. They'll tell us that they're not there for fast times. They're there for developing the car. I still believe we're going to see this car this year, and I'm hoping for an announcement sometime here in the first quarter about when it might be revealed or displayed or when we'll know more about it.
Yep. For me, it comes down to 3 words. I can't wait. Also, Keith, we had a big rumor. We still have C8s, and we alluded to this in the first segment of the show. Hundreds of C8s are still waiting for parts to make them complete.
We just had this whole thing happen. And was it because they were trying to set a record for production for 23 that they were doing this? Was it because if they stopped not building cars, what we call build shy, meaning without all its parts, would that have stopped the line completely? We just don't know. This goes back to about August of 2023. We had a friend send us photos. They flew a drone over the Corvette assembly plant. We saw a parking lot that we'd never seen before. I pulled up some other spy shots from other flyovers, and sure enough, it was a brand new parking lot that was built, and it was filled with new cars. And they were just just driven in. It wasn't like they were parked in neat rows or anything like that. They were just driven in all different directions and angles. We had people reaching out to us saying that their cars had been sitting there at 3,800 status for weeks and weeks and weeks, even a couple months gone by before some people received their cars. We actually reached out to Chevy about it. They confirmed that they were building cars without parts and then retrofitting them later. Of course, we're not a big fan of that at all, but they kept the assembly line moving and everybody got the cars they ordered. I guess it's okay in the long run. But yeah, there was a lot of consternation there about owners about why is their cars parked outside? They're not finished. They're not covered. Hopefully this was a supply chain issue that's now been corrected or at least allowed us to catch up on parts. We don't really want to see this happen again.
Yeah, definitely. Also, this was a story that I know you had a lot of readership on. There's supposedly a mid-engine Mustang that's going to come out, and it's supposed to rival the C8 Corvette.
Well, that's what we thought. So there's rumors of a new Mustang coming out. This actually goes back to August. And initial reports seemed to indicate that they were going to be a mid-engine car to compete with the Corvette. I laughed. This was our second most popular story of the year in terms of page views. But what ended up being revealed was a $300,000 front-engine Mustang called the GTD with 800 horsepower. It's got a big wing on the back. During the reveal, it was interesting. Ford executives said their, quote, European rivals never saw it coming, but they never talked about crosstown rivals over at Chevrolet, and they never mentioned the Corvette as a direct competitor to this car as well. Mustang, they also had their Dark Horse Mustang come out, kind of being able to take advantage of the fact that they're producing these front-engine sports cars and muscle cars, whereas the Camaro's now gone and we've lost the Challenger and Chargers as well have over died. So they're kind of the last man standing in that individual segment. I don't think they're really on par with sports cars and Corvettes and Porsches per se, but they want to be. That's why they came out with the GTD.
Yeah, 800 horsepower is a lot of horsepower, buddy. Also, our final rumor, Keith, Motor Trend says that we're still looking at a Corvette EV and SUV that's supposed to be announced this year.
Yeah, these rumors, all kinds of rumors about future Corvette models. We've got friends over at Muscle Cars and Trucks that have been talking about this as well. Corvette SUV we've been hearing about for a long time, as well as an EV sedan model that would carry the Corvette Cross Flags logo. Of course, we got rumors of a Grand Sport model. We keep hearing about these EV sports cars based on the C8. So it's hard to really know what's happening. Motor Trend says in 2024 that we'll see an ICE-powered SUV model. This is a internal combustion engine-powered SUV, and then a reveal of an EV sports car concept. And I highlight with my finger quotes in the air, concept. We have seen a definite cooling of the EV market, but Motor Trend says that it's a concept only and not for production. So we'll continue to see what happens. These predictions, they come up all the time. They're always different. We always hear about, Corvette's going to split off from Chevrolet, be its own brand. There's both advantages and disadvantages to that. But in the end, the Corvette is a popular car, and if they could leverage some of that success in other models, we know that they would do it. Of course, we've seen Porsche do it, Lamborghini do it with their SUV, their performance SUVs. So why not Corvette?
Yeah.
When everybody says that about SUVs, I say just go to Chevrolet.com and look at how many SUVs they're selling right now. There's 9 of them.
Yeah.
Where is a Corvette going to fit in that lineup? Of course, you've got the EV Blazer now. There's a lot of selection there. I don't know if I see a path forward for that yet.
I know, but variety is the spice of life, Keith.
And I know many people who have trouble getting in and out of a low-slung sports car would have no problem getting out of a 600 or 700 horsepower SUV. I know there's a definite market there for Corvette fans. The question remains, will Chevrolet ever decide to do it?
Great point, buddy. Great point. Well, Keith, let's take our final break. When we come back, it's the lighter side of Corvette. It's our 2023 perspective here at Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through 2 doors. Door number 1, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number 2, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth and Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange with you, and you get a 5-year warranty. So visit wheelcraft.com today or give them a call at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. It's our 2023 retrospective. Keith, in this final segment, we always talk about the lighter side of Corvette. One of the stories we found, the Stingray has set a new quarter-mile world record, hasn't it?
Yeah, back in 21 and 2022, there's this huge race between several different builders and tuners, all to have the fastest Corvette Stingray. Of course, Amelia, there was late model Racecraft was involved. Of course, Fuel Tech USA was the ones that actually were the first to get their car under the 8s. And then Extreme Turbo Systems, they were actually the first car in the 9s, I believe. So there was this whole competition that was going back and forth over these 12, 15 months or so, 2021, 2022. And then it kind of died down a little bit once Fuel Tech did get the record. But we just had another one set. So Extreme Turbo Systems, they took their C8 Corvette Stingray to the track. This was back in December, and they ran 8.64 seconds at 170 miles an hour in the quarter mile.
Wow.
That time beat the previous record held by late model Racecraft. Their record was 8.83 seconds at 160 miles an hour. It was a fun competition. Glad to see that some of these guys are still at it. What's interesting is we've had these people all going after this Stingray, but we haven't really seen that same kind of enthusiasm or willingness to attack the Z06 the same way with mods and make it faster, and then a competition where multiple people are trying to get the fastest car in the record. Hopefully we'll still see that. Hopefully it's just a matter of supply and demand, and we just need these people to get their cars and then feel comfortable about modding them. I know that was one of the things Amelia did when she put the twin turbo system on her car for just a few weeks. She just said it was too good of a car to modify, and that's one of the reasons why she sold it. Records were made to be broken, and there's always going to be somebody out there that wants the fastest car. So I do believe that we'll continue to see these times drop.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch and see those times and where they are and how they inch by inch just keep dropping and dropping.
Yep.
Also, sit down, everybody. Chevrolet dealers are actually discounting now C8 Corvettes for the first time.
And it's not just here and there. There's actually now a Facebook group that's dedicated to this. A lot of people are talking about it. Of course, our first time that we saw it happening was a Montana dealer. They had 2 dealer stock orders, and they were offered $3,000 off on both cars. We actually called and talked to one of the people up there and said, we've got some winter coming. It's Montana, so our season ends early. But these are dealer stock items, and we want to sell these cars, and we think that discounting them $3,000 off of MSRP will get them moved.
Yeah.
Sure enough, they did. And in fact, just last week, Whitmoyer Chevrolet in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, they had a brand new 3LT 2023 convertible. They listed that for $10,000 off its MSRP. And you know what, Steve? People still complain.
Come on, everybody.
They're complaining about this car because the original buyer had ordered 2 sets of wheels. They ordered the Spectra Gray wheels, I think, and then they did a Tech Bronze wheel on top of it, which is like $3,000. So, this car carried $103,000 MSRP.
Ooh.
With $10,000 off, it's $93,000, and people still complain. So there's no pleasing people sometimes. But I think this is a trend. We've seen dealerships, and we've heard from especially some of the larger dealerships that basically said, for the most part, the wait times for the C8 Stingray are over. On certain dealerships, you can come in, order one, and have it built within 3 to 6 months or so. We think that's a good thing. We think that eventually we might even see some Stingrays ending up as dealer stock orders, where you can walk into a dealership and actually see 3 or 4 cars being offered for sale.
Wow.
So things are really changing here. And then on the other side, too, is the Z06 has been out for over a year now. Are we starting to see some of those crazy additional dealer markups, the ADMs? Are they coming down a little bit? Initially, they were $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. Now on that MSRP group I told you about on Facebook, people are saying $6,000 or $10,000 over. So much more palatable on a car like that versus $50,000 over.
Yeah.
We might be really starting to see it. There's going to be wait lists for the E-Ray. There's going to be wait lists for the Z06 wherever you go. There's going to take time to satisfy that demand, and hopefully that demand will be satisfied over the course of its run.
The ADMs just need to go away, period.
Really do. And again, we could talk about that as a whole show.
Yes.
Why can't it be controlled? Chevy tells us, all these dealers are independent businesses. Something's got to be done. And I know other automakers, again, struggle when they put out limited edition or hot cars and they don't want them flipped. I know there was a whole thing about the Cybertruck not being flipped. Some cars are being offered only as leases for their first year.
Right.
So that they can't be flipped. So there's ways that automakers are trying to combat it, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
For some people, especially on the Corvettes, it never really affected the main guy selling the car. It only affected the second guy buying the car.
Right.
Until you can hurt that first guy, cause him pain if he sells his car. And I mean that figuratively. Or do I mean it literally, Steve? I'm not really sure. So what had happened was these dealerships, they're the ones that were doing all the markups because there was really nothing that Chevy could do to stop it.
Not a good situation, but hopefully all those ADMs will eventually go away.
It just takes more production.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also, Keith, a Corvette Transport got rear-ended by another 18-wheeler in Indiana, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a sad story, actually. At CorvetteBlogger, we do post stories about accidents, and I tell our readers that accidents are just a part of life. Sometimes Corvettes crash. We know how people slow down and stare at accidents on the road. They do the whole rubbernecking thing, and they do that as well when we publish these crash photos. And I tell people, because I do get questions on this quite a bit, we don't do it for shock value, anything like that. And in cases where the Corvette owner is at fault, it's a good way to send a message not to engage in that behavior. Don't drink and drive.
Right.
Don't be a reckless driver. Don't go out there with cold tires on a cold day and think that you're going to be Mario Andretti. That's how you end up on the side of the road,
Right.
One such accident we covered was a semi-truck had crashed in the rear of a Corvette Transporter. Normally, it's just one car here. Here's 10 Corvettes on the side of the road. Sadly, the driver of the truck, which rear-ended the Corvette Transporter, died due to his injuries. Very sad news. We didn't know that at the time. It came out a couple of days after that. But sometimes Corvettes crash. It's a fact of life, and we don't do it for shock value, but it's something that people are interested in and something that we do show.
Yeah. Also, Chevrolet, this is an interesting story, too, and I know it garnered a lot of looks on your website at CorvetteBlogger.com. Chevrolet is officially out of the attainable performance car game. Talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. This was actually our top read story of the year. It published on December 14th by Alex Summers, one of our writers. And it dealt mostly with the fact that GM has killed the Chevy Camaro again. And with that model passing, there are now no longer any attainable performance cars in Chevrolet's lineup. If you want a V8, you're looking at $70,000 for a base Corvette, where back in 2017, you could get a V8 powered Camaro for the 30s. Also in 2017, there were like 6 choices for V8 power with Chevrolet. And one of those was a 4-door SS sedan. So where there used to be choices, they're no longer. Chevrolet used to be the place where the everyday man could go and buy a performance car. Looks like those days are gone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
As we were talking off air here, our top 2 stories of the year based on our readers clicking on the stories was about a Mustang and a Camaro.
That's not even right, buddy.
But again, it's about the market and what's affecting what Alex a lot of times calls any kind of like Camaro or Cadillac stories. He calls those Corvette adjacent.
There you go.
Because they really do go hand in hand with the car. And a lot of times you can't talk about Chevrolet or General Motors without the various cars underneath their umbrellas, not just the Corvette.
True.
When you think about Alex Alex's points, he's very right. It used to be you could walk into a dealership, get a great V8 powered car and go and enjoy that. And you could be a blue collar worker and have one of those cars.
There you go. Yeah.
Today, it's much different and not in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. And we have a neat thing coming up that we'd like everybody to join us on. We've got Corvette Day coming up at the Mecum auction in Kissimmee.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I know you've written about it. You put it out on your mailing list. Well, we've done it at CorvetteBlogger. Mecum is hosting a special Corvette Day on Thursday, January 11th. Of course, we're going to be there. Steve's coming to Kissimmee. We're also going to be joined by Vet Views Magazine and the folks of Bloomington Gold, which are holding their first judging action for Corvettes at Mecum Kissimmee. Mecum's going to be providing us with behind-the-scenes tours. We're going to have the opportunity to meet with some of the consigners, like the guys selling the L88 1967 Corvette. Of course, Dr. Mark Davis and his ultimately preserved collection, and the Colorama, the 7 Corvette split windows from 1963, all in their own individual colors.
Right.
So we're all doing that on January 11th, which is Thursday. So if you can join us, that would be fantastic. To make it even easier, single day tickets cost $30, but if you use Corvette Day as a promo code, it's all one word, Corvette Day, one word. When you buy tickets, they'll give them to you for $15 off. So you can buy them at half price. And of course, children 12 and under are free. We're going to have a lot of fun there. We've got the agenda up on CorvetteBlogger.com. Essentially, we're going to meet 2 different times. At 10:30, we're doing a tours. And then again, at 2 o'clock, we're doing tours. Steve's going to come in at 2 o'clock for that one. We've got some really fun stuff planned. So come out to Corvette Day, Mecum Kissimmee on January 11th.
Hey, Florida in January sounds awful good to me, buddy.
We're looking at weather so far. It looks like a good, clear day. They're going to have 4,500 cars. There's over 460 Corvettes being offered. A crazy amount of cars. The best of the best Corvettes, but there's also Corvettes that are going to be offered for the everyday man.
Yeah.
Where you can go out and find a nice driver and something that you can feel proud about driving at Mecum Kissimmee.
It'll be a lot of fun. Well, buddy, thanks for being back on Corvette Today. I'm looking forward to being with you every other week in 2024.
My pleasure, Steve. This is just a joy for us. We really have fun doing this. Thanks again for partaking in both the podcast and reading CorvetteBlogger.com as part of your everyday place to get Corvette news. And we'll see you all around in 2024.
Thanks again for listening and watching Corvette Today. And be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today show. And thanks to our sponsors, Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at ChevyUSA.com.
Thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. If you'd like to contact Steve with ideas for Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Also, sign up for email notifications at corvettetoday.ck.page. Follow Steve and the show on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Threads at Steve Garrett DJ. Thanks again for listening and watching Corvette Today.